run over to my grandma's house and I'd say, "Oh, you got any cereal?" And she'd go, "Oh, you didn't have breakfast?" "Oh, no." And I'd eat her Frosted Flakes. So I was manipulating family members to get more cards.
My next guest hails from the heartland of America. His content is both informative and entertaining. He's a YouTube all-star, and he chews gum that's older than most content creators. Please welcome Drew from Clean Cheap Shots to the Collector's Chat.
Hey, Robert.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Hey, I'm doing great. Great win. How about those Gophers over USC, huh? Can we say that?
I think so. I guess I kind of have a horseshoe up my you-know-what, because that was the first Gopher game I've ever, well, I shouldn't say my first Gopher game at the stadium they're currently playing in. So it's been over probably 30, 40 years. And to see that game, that was amazing. I don't know if I ever want to go to another game. I think I just retire. It was great. It's that whole college experience. It's just the pageantry and just the enthusiasm. There's nothing like it. It was great.
I agree.
How about yourself? Do you get to make it? Do you get to go to a lot of your Husker games, or?
I used to have season tickets, but gave them up. I go to maybe a game or two a year. My knees just hurt too much to sit there that long. But yeah, no, they're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Oh, hey, I should put the brakes on the conversation just for a second, because I know you've seen some of these collectors chats before, right, Drew?
Oh, yeah.
So you know that thing about the little game that we play?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, say the secret word. It's a word used in everyday conversation. And if you say the secret word, this duck will come down. And the secret word is on the duck. And if you say the secret word, Drew, you will have a choice of these fabulous prizes. I've got unopened packs. So I have 6 unopened for you to choose from. Battlestar Galactica. Do you have any unopened packs, Drew?
Well, I do, but they're just baseball.
They're not non-sports. So these would be your first non-sports packs.
Oh, I remember those.
Wacky packages. Yeah, those were one of the first cards I collected as a kid. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I think this is a 1978. So these packs are about 45 years old.
Yeah, I wonder if the gum's any good.
You would know about that, wouldn't you? And then Moonraker. So yeah, say the secret word, and I
might have had a few Charlie's Angels packs that I opened up as a kid.
I'll tell you what, I didn't bring one out.
No, that's okay.
Because Charlie's Angels was one of my favorites as a kid growing up. I had a crush on Sabrina, and well, let's just say we don't. I'll admit it, because then I don't want your guys' minds to go other places. But I was with a friend, and we were watching it, and I actually kissed the screen when Sabrina came on. So yeah. So I've got a history, but the point being, I do have some extra Charlie's Angels packs. So if you win and that's something you'd like, I can make that one available too. So yeah. So now everything's fair game. If you say the secret word, the duck will come down.
Today's secret word is Lincoln.
So anyway, what? Okay, so the old knees are preventing you from wanting to be going up and down those cement stairs at the stadium, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I've had 6 total knee surgeries. So
Oh my goodness.
all sports related.
Oh really? What sports did you play growing up?
My first knee surgery was in high school. I was triple jumping.
Oh wow, I remember that one. It's a skip, hop, and jump. Was that what it is?
Yeah. So I hurt myself doing that, and just baseball, and I used to play competitive softball for many years. 120 games a season we would play.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Was that like that was just like in a traveling league or something, or?
Yeah. In fact, we played up in your state. What was it, Faribault or Owatonna area?
That's right. Yeah. Kind of southern Minnesota.
Yeah.
Mid southern. Yeah. Do you remember a king and his court? That was the.
Sure do. Yeah.
Yeah. I always enjoyed watching anytime they were on ESPN or something back in the day.
Yep.
That was before ESPN really had the contracts with a lot of the national sports. So they would play they'd have these weird different sports on just to fill time. Like they'd have billiards or, all this different stuff.
Yeah.
Dart championships. Hey, I know you've got a big event coming up and I want you to plug it because I think you're requesting the help from our viewers. Do you want to talk about that, Drew?
Yeah, thank you, Robert, for asking. So last year, about this time last year, I had an opportunity to interview Eddie Watt, who played for the Baltimore Orioles. He won 2 World Series, played in 4, starting in 1966. And those episodes I had broken down into 4 parts. I think they were 31, 32, 33, and 34. But more recently, a couple of weeks back, I ran into an owner of a sports talk radio station and got to talking, and he invited me to come to the station and interview Mr. Watt again. So that's going to be on October 20th at 1:00 p.m. Central Time. It's supposed to be live, and so I suspect there will be a live chat on YouTube. So if you have questions, put your question in the chat, and I'm hoping because I assume there's a producer, so hopefully the producer will pop up some of those questions. So that's Mr. Eddie Watt.
That's nice. That's one of those stand-ups?
Yeah, it is, but it's a bigger one. It's not like the little ones. Okay. I don't know.
Interesting.
I typically don't buy things like this, but after Watt was so gracious and he was just a fun guy to talk to, I ended up purchasing a few of his cards and stuff.
Nice. So. Did he autograph anything for you?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I have a baseball here. It's the only thing I asked him to autograph. If you watch the 4-part episode, I actually had reached out to some of the YouTube community members, and they submitted some questions, and then I wrote them on an index card and read it off, and then he'd sign the back, and I sent it off to those folks.
That's great. That would have been a thrill. I guess I missed that one. But yeah, even just the thought of asking a question that a former major leaguer would answer is, I guess being a fanboy that I am, I get a real kick out of that. So did he sign that? Because I think he mentioned in the interview or maybe post interview, if he likes you as a friend, he'll sign it. Like a personal friend, he'll sign it. Is it Ed or the opposite? How does that?
Okay. So his real name is Eddie. Okay.
Oh,
and
really?
So when he signs things for people, he only signs it Ed Watt. Now, to a family member, he would sign something Eddie.
Okay. So even though you did the first interview, you never got the Eddie out of him.
No, I got the ad. Maybe this next time
Maybe
around.
this next one. Maybe this next one. So, so this station manager, did he watch your interview then with Mr. Watt and got the
Well,
idea, or how did that?
yeah, he's actually the station owner, actually. And
Okay.
I honestly, I'm not entirely sure he watched that segment
Hmm.
because we met, we spoke, and then he had to get back on the air. And so we didn't really get to finish the conversation. He handed me his business card. He said, reach out. I reached out. And then I called Mr. Watt here the other day and said, "Hey,
Mhm.
are you interested?" And before I could finish my sentence, he said, "You
Okay.
bet. Tell me when and where, and I'll be there."
Okay.
So,
I mean, I'm sure he wants to have your velvet tones on his radio station, Drew, but
mhm.
I mean, you're very useful because you probably have the contact information to Mr. Watt to make this interview happen.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do have Mr. Watt's contact
Okay.
information. I've called him a few times just to ask him,
Okay.
different questions. But
And did you say um back in the interview, or just discussing the interview, Drew, that Eddie Watt, he's a local. He lives in the area, or
yeah, he lives in a small town outside of Lincoln, Nebraska, and he has since his
what? What part of Nebraska?
Lincoln.
Oh, wow! The world record for the earliest time that the secret word has been said and the Ducks made an appearance, or the first time I remembered to say it, to respond to the secret word. But congratulations, Drew.
I can't.
This was tough. This was tough because it's not really an everyday word, but you
Mm,
said it, Lincoln.
I'm hoping to get a Farrah Fawcett in that pack.
All right. But are you going to open it? I mean, you can if you want, because if you open it,
No,
I would love to see that.
no,
I'd love to see
honestly,
it there.
I won't open it. No.
Okay. I was going to say you can open it and you could probably get another on eBay like for 12, 14, 15 bucks. So it's not like the end of the world if you didn't. But no, that's totally up to you. But congratulations. I didn't even have to prompt you because I didn't know Ed lived in the Lincoln area. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. Let's just get back to the conversation. But thank you so much for playing. And we'll reset the prize for next week. And I just want to do a quick plug here for my collectors chat. So everyone, just realize that you're probably used to my mega long, hour, 2 hour collectors chats, but I made the decision, and it's nothing to do with Drew, but we're only going about a half hour on these. And the reason being is I just want to get more people in the community a chance. So instead of doing them like once every 6 weeks or so, I like to do them about once a week. So looking forward to that. And there was going to be a little new wrinkle. If Drew or whoever the guest is doesn't say the secret word, the prize will just the prizes will start accumulating. So the next week's would have got like 2 of them or whatever, and so on and so on. So then if no one gets it for a few weeks, there's going to be a lot of good packs up for grabs. So, but hey, it's going to reset back to 1 because Drew got it right on, hit the nail right on the head. So we're good to go for the next week. We'll start new. But thanks for that, giving me the opportunity for that plug. So speaking of plugs, so yeah, everyone out there, October 20th,
Yeah.
1 p.m. because I'm gonna have this posted well before your interview, Drew. So this will get out there before the interview happens. So October 20th, 1 p.m. Go to YouTube, and then Drew will give me the link, and I'll put that up on the screen, and I'll put that down in the description too for the station's channel. What were the call letters to that channel, Drew? That radio station?
It's 93.7, the ticket.
Yeah, so even if you don't have the direct link, I bet you in the search bar on YouTube, 93.7,
Yes.
the ticket, Nebraska, the heartland of America.
There you go.
Anything else to say? Oh, anything else to say about the interview?
No, just 1 o'clock p.m. Central. And yeah, if you've got questions, put it in the chat. I'm hoping the producer will pull up those questions and give everybody a
Yeah.
chance to participate. So
Congratulations, Drew. That's like the big time. And then I highly recommend that you kind of mention clean cheap shots a few times, because you're looking at a pretty big audience, and all of a sudden your exposure is gonna increase exponentially, I think, after this interview.
well, maybe my subs might go down after they see me.
Touche, but I'm probably glad I'm getting the opportunity to talk to you before
Yeah, thank you.
before this, because your standards, you're going to go from this to like a major ESPN affiliate. So
No.
I'm grateful. All right, so we can move on. I'll ask you the generic interview question. How did you get started in the card hobby?
Real simple. It's my mom and my grandma's fault. Um, so my mom used to buy Frosted Flakes, and if you remember, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes used to have the Kellogg's cards, the 3D cards. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
And it's really how I became an Oakland A's fan too. I started getting those cards of Reggie Jackson and Joe Rudy and Catfish Hunter and Raleigh Fingers. And I just love the colors and I love those cards. And so I would just eat that Frosted Flakes like it was going out of style. And then I'd run over to my grandma's house and I'd say, "Oh, you got any cereal?" And she'd go, "Oh, you didn't have breakfast?" "Oh, no." And I'd eat her Frosted Flakes. So I was manipulating family members to get more cards. And that's how I got started in the hobby. And honestly, Robert, I haven't stopped. I've never stopped. I was collecting cards in college. Maybe it's slowed down a little bit, but
Wow.
I've never stopped. So really, 1970, I can remember, and I still have them, my first pack of cards.
Wow, that's great. So your mom or dad or your mom, you said, was an influence, and your
Really?
your
Yeah.
grandpa or grandma?
Both my mom and my grandma, and I don't
So
know
the
why.
female, yeah, the
Yeah,
female influence.
I guess so.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
they never threw away your cards. That's good.
No, and when my mom sees my card collection now, she just rolls her eyes, and I remind her it was her fault.
Well, that's awesome that you continued, because I think a lot of us will take breaks. Like for me, I can specifically point to 1985. That's my last set that I have. I bought the top set. I cheated. I just bought the whole set because I wanted a 1985 Kirby Puckett, which is the rookie card of Kirby.
Mhm.
I mean, I think technically there's like an 84 update, but for me it was the 85. So I bought the set, but then I really didn't have any cards. I mean, maybe through the years I'd buy like a pack or so. Um, but yeah, and then I started getting back into it recently, where I started buying some more packs. But yeah, for you to go continuously, that's awesome. That doesn't happen too often. Do you have, I mean, when you would buy cards, you would go to the grocery store, convenience store, drugstore?
Mhm. Yeah, I remember it was the IGA grocery store, and I can still remember to this day exactly where those boxes were with the packs in them.
Oh, to buy. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you end up getting like enough to buy to complete sets back then, or do you think you got little bits of
No, it was only a few packs here and there, and
okay,
for some reason, Robert, I had the foresight to not even open up some of them. So here's a pack from 1978.
that you bought personally?
Yep. So
That's
78.
crazy.
Here's a couple of them from 1975. There's two of them in there.
Those are beautiful.
75, and then 1980. If you don't mind me just showing you a few here.
Nope.
1980 used to come like this with the gum on the back, George Breather on the front,
Yeah.
and had the scratch offs on the back.
So what was it? What was it, if I may interject, Drew, that just the little birdie that said, because we all just opened them. What made you? Yeah. And that's what you saw that at the convenience store and just bought it and kept it that way.
Yeah.
So do you think it was like, was it like a time capsule purpose that you thought
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna keep them and then maybe in 20 years I mean, you just did that. Okay.
1979.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't really know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I really don't. I always take good care of everything, and I had to get this 1978 pack out here, Robert. So your home state, Minnesota. Where's Dave Winfield from? You know, right?
He'd be from, yeah, exactly. St. Paul, Minnesota.
There you go.
He was drafted by what, the Vikings, I think.
Yeah.
Drafted by the NBA and drafted by the Padres. So yeah.
And then I have just boxes full.
What year is that?
This is 1983.
Okay. Are those unopened in there?
Yeah,
Oh,
everything's on.
okay.
Yeah. So I
Wow.
sent you a picture before we started, Robert, and it's just again,
That's
I have
great.
a large collection of boxes that haven't been opened.
So you were unopened before 99% of the people probably ever collected unopened, because that's how I got mine. I just bought them off eBay or
Yeah.
some auction houses. I think I might have had one from maybe the 1990, or no, not even that. Probably in the 2000s, I went to some place and they were clearing them out real cheap, and I bought a bunch, so I kept them unopened. But I saved some wrappers, like that 1978 unopened pack that you have, Drew. I have a couple wrappers that I saved because that was the year that I probably bought the most cards ever, was at 78. And if you remember, Drew, there's that game on the back of that 78, like a single, triple, home run. I used to play that game sitting on my bed. For that reason, my cards are in really trashy condition, as I like to say, trashy. But yeah, it was a thing. And then I collected a little less than 79. I didn't get really back into it gung ho until 81. And the reason I'm saying this is because 1980 year, I probably, man, I bought a lot though from the store, just like yourself. I probably have about 400 different ones. I never got a Ricky Henderson, and you
Oh,
did.
oh
And you
yeah.
did, didn't you?
I don't have one with me, but yes, I opened up so many 1980 packs. I
Yeah,
memorized the sequence in which he was inserted. And
yeah.
so if I saw like on the front, now this is 78, but for example, if this had been 1980 and I would have
Mhm.
saw, yeah, like a Dan Spillner or somebody, I'd be like, yep, that's mine. I'm taking that one. I
Yeah,
knew it was in there.
you got that nice Dave Parker on there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, the Cobra.
But to
Yeah.
be clear too, Robert, I bought a lot off eBay over the years and also from our local card store. When he was trying to get rid of his junk wax, say 85, 86, 87,
Mhm, mhm.
88, and he was selling them for like $8 a box. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take it. I started taking them all day long.
Yeah, I mean, that's my only saving grace. So the only thing I probably maybe wouldn't be more regretful is I stopped collecting kind of right before the junk wax era, so I don't really have to worry about all that stuff. But how many Ricky Hendersons do you have, Drew?
I had a lot. I probably because I sold a few to purchase
Mhm.
my 53 Mays here last year. I probably have, I think maybe about 6 left is all.
Okay. And then didn't you get one graded, or am I
Yeah,
misremembering?
all the ones. Well, not maybe not all of them. I've got 5/8 and 1/9.
Wow,
Yeah,
that nine is I do you know the pop count on that? It's probably pretty low, I would think.
it is pretty low.
Yeah,
Very low.
that's probably your most, not that we're all about value, but you think that's the most valuable card you have in your collection, that 9 Henderson?
Yeah, maybe not. It might be this guy.
Oh, wow. 53 Mantle. And
Yeah.
what grade is that?
This is a 3. So
Okay.
that guy's up there. You know, that's
That's
pretty high.
beautiful. That might be one of my favorite looking cards I've ever seen. I like the Satchel Paige too, but that is awesome. Look at that Sandy Koufax. That's a rookie?
Yep.
Oh, you got some cards.
Yeah. So Robert, I had to have the mantle because my focus was for 18 years completing a 1953 tops
Mhm, mhm,
completely graded set.
mhm.
And so I don't have the variety of many of your other participants in this chat. Again, being pretty focused, I couldn't really venture out, but I have now here more recently, and I started working on the 1955 and 56 sets. So,
Well, I mean, it's safe to say you've been collecting for 50 years. I mean, you've got some
yeah,
cards.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what, Drew? My first experience with your channel, I don't know, I clicked on it and you were doing the 1953 what do you call 'em, men behind the uniform? Is that what you call it? And you were doing the 53 and I loved it because I'm just a history nut. I love the Ken Burns. So a lot of these channels, I mean, they're all great and there are some that talk about the history, but a lot of them will just show. But the fact that you were doing a deep dive into each common player that you just would normally just blow right through, and they all have a lot of it's military. They all have great stories.
No, yeah. So I sometimes say it's not about the cardboard; it's about the men on the cardboard. They have stories because they really do.
Yep.
Eddie Watt has stories. George Shuba has stories. Hank Thompson. One of my favorite stories was this guy, Sam Jones. Uh,
Hmm.
Terrific story. I know we don't have time today, but you know him. If you get a chance, Sam Jones, Johnny Bushman. It's a great human interest story. And you get guys like it's not written on; it's on the card, but Hank Thompson, World War II vet who was in the
Right.
Battle of the Bulge, and
Oh,
the third person, the third African American to break the color barrier, but people don't know that about him. Or maybe it's about this guy over 2 years as a German POW captain. He
oh
was
boy.
captured,
Oh boy.
you know,
Wow.
or maybe it's about Luke Easter,
Oh, okay.
who was a great player, but was a man of principle so much that when he was retired from baseball, he was working as a courier for the railroad. Came out of a bank in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Two gunmen asked him for his money. He said no, and they shot and killed him.
Oh boy. See, let me interject. I have a couple Luke East, or I don't know if yeah, I think I have a couple Luke Easters because early on my father's from Cleveland. So I just started focusing on some Cleveland. I've got Luke Easter. I never realized that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you've done these videos, they're in your archives. So if anyone out there hasn't seen them yet, just go back into Drew's videos and you're in the process, or have you finished going through the whole set
Oh
of
no, I'm
okay.
I'm still very much
Good,
less
good,
than a quarter of the way through, but
good,
they take an
good.
awful lot of time to research, Robert. They
No,
really do. I plan
yeah.
to release one actually tomorrow. I just
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this might be released after that, but definitely go back and see Drew's current ones in the series. But yeah, it's just amazing. Do you have any other ones to show, Drew? Or
Oh, well, I mean, even with Hall of Famers, Jackie Robinson, right? But did you know that he had a brother named Mac who placed second in that 200 meters behind Jesse Owens in Berlin
I did not know that.
with .04? And so,
Wow.
but the story about Jackie Robinson is kind of interesting because he was playing, excuse me, he was playing professional football in Hawaii,
Okay.
and he got homesick. So on December 5th, 1941, he went back to the States, the
Oh,
mainland. Well,
okay.
guess what? Happened 2 days later, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So now he's back in the States, and he's actually eventually joins the Army. And guess what? He doesn't want to go to the back of the bus to sit as an officer. He's an officer, and he gets arrested, and he gets charged. I don't remember exactly what he was charged with, but he goes through the process. He pleads, innocent and all these things. And while he's doing that, his battalion ends up getting sent to Europe. And then he's, of course, exonerated. But the point being is, what if he had stayed 2 more days in Hawaii? What if he would just accepted the
Right.
charges? Or what if he hadn't been the man that he was? He may not have been the individual that broke the color barrier. So,
Very true. It's a butterfly effect kind of thing. But
yeah.
so, yeah, there's a degree of separation that no one or I wouldn't have ever even thought about. Pearl Harbor and Jackie Robinson.
I mean,
Crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. No, these men definitely have stories. And I just love the fact that you brought them out. So what, Drew, how did you, take that step or the plunge into this whole YouTube community? How did that transpire?
I really wanted to uh, find more like-minded friends that collect like I do. And I kind of wanted to also, well, I had been tossing around the idea of actually writing kind of a coffee book, if you will, on the 1953 Top Set. And I thought, what a better way to see if it will fly by,
Hmm.
I thought, well, I'll get on YouTube and see if there's any interest. And so that was kind of one of the reasons. And the other thing was, Robert, I was in federal law enforcement for a long time, and they kind of you
Hmm.
kind of have to watch your personality a little bit. You're expected to live in a certain way, and it was
Sure.
an opportunity after leaving the government for myself to come out and just try to be me again. So
Wow. Totally understandable. Um, well, thank you for your service. Now, were you in military also, Drew, or?
no, I was not with the
Okay.
I was not in the military, but occasionally I would work with the military on certain.
Okay.
Yes.
So definitely you have a deep respect and fondness for all our heroes uh,
Yeah.
previous and currently in the military, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, you know, these guys back then, World War II breaks out, and what do? They raise their hand, they leave their professional careers behind and say, "Hey, where do I sign up? Where do I go?"
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know there's Ted Williams and there's a lot of players at the prime of their career. They
Yeah.
were they're serving their country, and the numbers that they may have sacrificed, regardless of the fact that they weren't doing steroids or anything, but they were, the numbers they put up that are probably getting shattered a lot today. I mean, there's definitely should be an asterisk by that, because you know, the sacrifices that they made, and they played baseball the right way. It's just, you can't even put in words what they did for this country, both for the pastime and just for serving our country like the brave men they were. It's just hard to wrap my mind around that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you bring those to light, because we forget about that. We love showing our older cards and maybe looking at the conditions of them, and seeing what they might be, how much they might be worth. But to think
Yeah.
it's almost, you have your cards is almost like a portfolio, like a tribute to all these men.
Yeah.
It's almost like a scrapbook of remembering them, isn't it?
Well, nobody wants to be forgotten, right?
Right.
And I know most people call these cards common, but the men on
Hmm.
the cards are anything but common, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so I don't want Sam Jones to be forgotten uh, for many reasons. And one of them is for the friendship and the relationship he built with a young 11-year-old boy named Johnny Bushman. And because it had inspired Johnny Bushman to be the man that he became. And that's important to know.
Well, there's so much other stuff that Drew is all about, his channel, and definitely check out Clean Cheap Shots. Go to his archives. If you missed a lot of this, watch his new videos. You put out a video once a week usually, Drew?
Yeah, I put out one video each week, 6:30 a.m. on Thursdays Central Time.
Oh gosh, I didn't realize you had that specific. Okay, definitely
I
something to
might
drink
be a
your
little
coffee,
frustrated.
eat your bowl of cereal Thursday mornings, and have Drew's video on. So hey Drew, before we go, plug your appearance on that radio station one more time.
Yeah, 93.7 The Ticket. It's a sports talk radio show. Mr. Eddie Watt in studio live. You can catch it on YouTube. It's going to be October 20th, which is coming up here, and it's at 1:00 p.m.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So glad you're doing this. That Eddie Watt interview was so interesting. So can't get enough of Eddie Watt, and it'll be fun to see on like a big time radio station too. See how that goes. So hey, before we go, do you have like any other social media that we want to know about where we can find you, or so YouTube
Actually,
is it?
Robert, I don't.
Okay, no, YouTube, Clean Cheap Shots is where you'll find Drew. Yeah, no, hey, I appreciate everything. Drew, you know, I've gotten to know you throughout probably the year or so. I think you started on YouTube just maybe a hair before I did, but I know we've had a lot of commonalities. I remember once you watched one of my videos and you said, "You're not going to believe this." But the video I already recorded, there's going to be some eerie similarities. And then sure enough, yours came out and you had an old school G.I. Joe
Yes.
figure on there. And I had showed that G.I. Joe on my video. So what were the odds of that? Those old G.I. Joes that we had when we were kids. And then I even think our subscriber count has been almost pretty close to each other. So yeah, so I think we've definitely been kindred spirits. So I'm so happy that you agreed to come on my collector's chat. So, and you know, it's going to be a little shorter, but we'll leave some things for other the viewers to go find out themselves, because I'm sure on your video you talk a lot about different things, your experiences in the hobby. So, all right, I'm gonna sign off, and thanks, Drew. This community never ceases to amaze me. The rapport that you know, two people can have without meeting, without even ever knowing each other before. It's amazing. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you liked the video, and I hope this new format will work out well. I'm excited for it. We're gonna get a lot of these channels that it's gonna be so cool to hear about, that you know, stuff in the history that you might not always get just watching their videos comes out. So yeah, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I appreciate if you consider doing so. Then you'll get my videos when they come, when they're released. They'll be on your feed. Really appreciate it. So until next time, I'm Robert Sagady, also known as the Commenting Collector, saying good collecting exponentially, I think, after this interview.
Well, maybe my subs might go down after they see me.
Touche,